Hi, and welcome to my Flosstube number 41. My name is Esther, also known as SpeedyXStitcher. I'm from Denmark. I live in a house with my 4 cats, and I work as a teacher. I teach languages as well as culture, that means social studies as well as history and something about religion. Today I have quite a lot of things to show you. First of all, my projects. I have been stitching quite a lot because I had this challenge going on, which I called Stitch Spooky in September 24. I'm happy to announce that I completed my challenge. Also, I have started my first Mirabilia Christmas Tree 2010. And I'm also going to tell you about my new challenge for the rest of the year, which I call WIP Sweep 24. And there will also be something about a stitching exhibition where some of my stitching might be a part of it. And last, there will be a small life update. So as you can hear, there's quite a lot of stuff, so I think we should just dive into it. I think I will talk about that exhibition first. As I told you in my last Flosstube, I was either going to see Broderisten or I had just been, I don't remember. She had some kits you could bring home. They all consisted of 18 by 18 centimeters pink Aida, not my color, and 1 skein of DMC. I think there were 3 different kinds of DMC. One of them was the same color as the fabric, and then there was number 400 and number 211. And you should, if you wanted to be a part of this exhibition, you have to stitch it before the 1st of November, or you have to give it to the museum before November 1st. And let me see what else. Yeah, the motive had to have something to do with pigs or laughing or laughs. And it was completely up to you how you wanted to stitch, what you wanted to stitch. But the maximum size of it had to be 8 by 8 centimeters, and you had to center it on the piece. She asked us to take as many kits back home as we could stitch. Then a couple of days later, I think she made an announcement on the internet and was completely blown away because so many people wanted to participate. I think she had made 1,000 kits. And now some are angry that some of us stitched more than one, but she did say that we should bring home all the kits we thought we could stitch. I brought back 2. The first one, it's with 211. It says "if." I think you would translate it to oink, because that's the sound a pig says in Danish. And I stitched it like this. And I have also written down how many stitches as well as how many days I worked on it. So just a moment. I stitched on it for 3 days and I stitched 660 stitches. This was not my favorite one to make because I didn't like the color combination, but I didn't choose the colors. Then I would never have chosen this kind of fabric. You know that. Of course, I'm going to iron them, and then I will probably in a week or 2, I will deliver them to the museum, so they are out of my hands. The other one is also a pig. That's with number 400. And again, it says oink in the middle of it. And that's precisely 8 by 8 centimeters. yeah, I like this very much. I think it's cute. And this one I stitched in one day. Let me see. It had 1,355 stitches, and I stitched this, and it took me one day to stitch. I didn't do much else that day, I would like to emphasize. Okay, so these were these two special projects. The rest of the I have one more, and then the rest of the projects I will tell you about in the chronologically, I mean when I stitched on them. But the next one, I used this water-soluble Aida. I have this jacket from my work, and I stitched my initials here, as you can see there. And it's so nice because a lot of my colleagues wear the same jacket at this time of the year, so it's very nice that I can now recognize mine very easily. It had, what was it, 39 stitches or something like that. 35 stitches, and I did that in one day. And this water-soluble Aida, it was so easy. You just put it in 40 Celsius degree hot water, warm water, for 10 minutes, and then the Aida is gone, and you just have to dry it. So it was very easy. I'll put it here. I'm going to record my Danish Flosstube after this one. Okay, let's see. A couple of videos ago I showed you these from the latest issue of Cross Stitcher magazine, and I have stitched on 2 new ones since then. This one you already know because I have showed that to you. This one is the chestnut one. I have stitched on, I began this on September 11th. I have worked on it for 3 days, and I did 1,217 stitches. And I think it turns out very well, but so do the others. I mean, this one is, one is probably my favorite. The other one, so this is not chronological, completely chronological. This one I call Hedgehog. I started that on the 18th of September, and I worked on it for 2 days and did 935 stitches. So these 3 are all from Cross Stitcher magazine. I'm going to do all 6 of them, to stitch all 6 of them. I think they are so beautiful and so cute, and I'm stitching it on 18 count, easy count, because it's, as you can see, full coverage, so no need to use hand-dyed fabric for that. The next one is by Autumn Lane Stitchery. That's called Something Wick This Way Comes. That was a part of my Stitch Spooky in September 2024. It looks like this. Yeah, there's a lot of hanging thread. This one is one of my older WIPs. I began, this is embarrassing, on the 26th of December 2021. So very soon, it has been 3 years ago since I started this one. And as you can see, I'm not very far. But it will help now that I have got it into Pattern Keeper, fully compatible. I will put up photos so you can see where I was the last time when I have photos. This one I stitched on 16 count Aida, which I hand dyed, because of course I would like to get hold of the call for fabric, but most of the times the call for fabrics you can only get from the UK or the USA, and living in Denmark, it would just be way too expensive, which is why I found a photo of the call for, and then I tried to dye it so it looked a bit like it, and I actually think it does. It has some green and gray and a little pinkish in it, and I think I succeeded pretty well. Yeah. And I stitched on it for 1 day, and I stitched 524 stitches on it. The next one I started on the 8th of July this year. This is one of my favorites, Vampire by the WIP Stitcher. I have forbidden myself to stitch on it every day because I want the stitching to last a bit, because I love stitching on it. This is on a piece of 16 count again that I hand dyed. It looks like this. I have been working on it for 2 days, and I stitched 909 stitches, and I love the way it looks. I think it's so beautiful. I have begun thinking about how I would like to finish it. I would love to find an oval frame, but I'm not sure that's possible, not in this size anyway. So I will probably have to use a square one, but I do have a little plan to change this a little bit. But more about that when I get to it. After all, this one still needs a little more than 2,000 stitches. But I think it's absolutely beautiful. And just look at the moon. It's so beautiful. So that was Vampire. The next one is Madame Chantilly. The Halloween Owls. I'm getting closer to a finish on this one. This one is also one of my older WIPs. It's even older than the other one. I started this in June the 25th in 2021. It's Halloween Owls. It looks like this. It's stitched on 16 count Aida called White Chocolate. I'm using the call for DMC. I would have chosen another kind of fabric if I could restart this one. I think I need to use some back stitching here to make them show better. I will probably use a gray or something, but I will wait. And also there's a ghost here and you can hardly see it, so that was not a good choice of fabric, but I'm not going to restart it. I have stitched on it for 2 days and I did 1,294 stitches. So this is Halloween Owls. The next one is my Mirabilia, but I actually want to show that as the last one. So I will go to the Halloween jar, number 2. This is by Solar Stitch Designs. I have worked quite a lot on it. I started this one on the 26th of February this year. It's on 14 count Aida, hand dyed by me. I'm using the call for DMC. I worked on it for 4 days and I did 728 stitches. And already now you can see what a huge especially up here, what a huge difference that backstitching does to this piece. Of course, I haven't filled out all the colors here, but still you can see it. It's really amazing what a difference it makes. Yeah, so I think I'm going to, I'm not sure I'm going to frame these. I might just make it into a flat fold or a little cushion. Yeah, time will tell. And now I have Felix down here. He is annoyed because it doesn't stop raining. I think we got at least, I didn't check, but since it has been raining cats and dogs since this morning, hardly without a break. Yeah, no. No. Of course he wants to lay down on my jacket. Where was it? Yeah, the rain. I think we had at least 60-70 millimeters is my guess, because we had big poodles, very big poodles, when I was driving home from work. Okay, let's move on. Then I picked one project I haven't stitched on for quite a long time, so I might not be able to show you a photo of how it looked before. But this is by Jardin Privé. It's called Halloween I Can't, I'm Stitching. Looks like this. I did change some of it. I changed her color into a very, very green silks. It looks like this. I'm also going to make her hands the green color. This is stitched on 25 count even weave called Mushroom, and I'm using the call for DMC, but also Mitsuseda's green silk number 16. You can see I stitched on it for one day. I did 135 stitches. And this is also one of my older WIPs. I don't think I will get rid of all my 2021 WIPs, but this is also a 2021 WIP. I started this one the 21st of May. This is so embarrassing. 21st of May. But you know how it is. I mean, when I counted my WIPs yesterday, I thought I had about 65. Turned out I had 79. That's including the WIPs that I might UFO. But still, 79. The next one, I also haven't stitched on for quite a while. It's by Modern Folk Embroidery. And the reason why it's in this big one is that sometimes I have the cones in it as well, because I'm only using two colors, DMC 310 and 321. This is a Quilter's Dream, and this is my second Quilter's Dream. I love this pattern, and I can put up a photo so you can see how my finished one looks. And this one, as you can see, I have reversed the colors. So now it looks like this. This one I started the 1st of February 2024. I mean, the first one, the last fortnight I was a monogamous stitcher on it, and I stitched it in 24-25 days altogether. This is not going to happen this time. I stitched on it 2 days, and I stitched 966 stitches. I'm stitching it on 18 count Ada called Confederate Grey, and as I said before, I'm using 310 and 321. And I think it's going to look absolutely amazing when I put these two up next to each other, when this one is done eventually. Let's move on. Still got 4 projects to show you, plus the Christmas tree. The next one is again Autumn Lane Stitchery. It's called Tonight We Ride. This is an 18 count Ada, hand dyed by me. I started this on the 29th of February this year. I have worked on it for 1 day and I did 320 stitches. And this is how it looks. And I like the way it turns out. I did miscount somewhere here, but I don't think you will be able to see it. I hope not, because I hate frogging black stitches. It's almost impossible because you cannot see where you stitched. And then we have my autumn sampler. This is not the name of it, but that's what I call it, by a Tiny Modernist. It's from Flosstube magazine. I don't recall which one, I must admit. I'm stitching it. I began this one on the 6th of August and it's on 16 count platinum. I'm using the call for DMC and I stitched on it for 1 day and I stitched 220 stitches. I was working on the fields up here and the sun, it must be, yeah, and a little bit of the green here, as you can see. So this is how it looks. I love these samplers. I have also in Pattern Keeper the spring one, but I have decided I'm not allowed to start the spring one. I haven't kitted it up yet, and I haven't even found the fabric yet. The only thing I know is that it has to be on 16 count. All the others are, as far as I remember, on solid color fabric, so I think the spring one should be too. Okay, my new challenge I call WIP Sweep 24. I'm trying to sweeping out some of my whips. I'm going to put up some pictures here. I showed it on Instagram yesterday. I have picked out 19 different projects. Altogether, well, they all have in common that they have maximum 2,800 stitches left. Some of them also need backstitching, but so altogether there is about 21,000 stitches. It's doable because I have until December 31st. My goal is not to finish all of them. My goal is to finish as many as possible. And I have also told myself, because I have 79 whips, that I'm only allowed to start a new one when I finish 2. I have to say that I already have 5 or 6 new projects kitted up, and it's very hard not to start them. No, I have more. I have 10. I forgot some of them. I have 10 projects kitted up, and I have at least 20 patterns in Pattern Keeper that are ready to be stitched, that are not even kitted up. So I have about 30 patterns in Pattern Keeper that I haven't started yet. And yes, I know that you should not use Pattern Keeper as storage, but that's the way I remember which pattern I would like to stitch. And as soon as I finish a pattern, I delete it from Pattern Keeper. I still have the pattern on my on my Google Drive. Anyway, as I said, I picked out 19, and I don't know what happened. Some of them I haven't stitched on for more than a year, some of them for more than 2 years. So I will not be able to show you a photo. But I mean, I finished making this challenge yesterday, and yesterday I managed to stitch on 2 of them. The first one, it's Iceland. I started this one on the 18th of June 2023. This is on 22 count Hardanger, and I stitched over here. It's by the stitch pattern. I used the call for DMC. I stitched 89 stitches and worked on it yesterday, the one day. So I'm not sure that I will finish this one, even though it only has 1200 stitches left. So if I just stitch 100 stitches every day, I will finish it quite soon. But for example, I can feel that tonight, no way I'm going to stitch on this one. So, okay. Lindner's Kreuzstiche. This is also a very old one. I started this on the 11th of May in 21. That was part of my Only Stitch Mania, where I started a new Halloween project every day in May, until I suddenly began stitching on spike, and then my first spike project, the one you can see right there, and then it went out of the window of the rest of them. Anyway, this is on 14 count Aida. It's called Pale Lilac, and I stitched on this yesterday. I did 366 stitches, and it looks like this. I'm only going to stitch Happy Halloween and then one more bat, and that's it. So I will make it into one of these long pillows. I love those. The fun thing is, as I said, this one I started in 21, so I had been stitching for about a year when I took this up. But I don't, yeah. But since then, in the last 3 years, I have stitched more than 150,000. 1 year, almost 200,000 stitches. So let's say I have stitched around at least 300,000 stitches since I started this one. And you can see that because if you look, I mean, this is even 14 count. If you look how unprecise some of the stitches, I hope you can see it, how unprecise. I mean, I missed some of the, I don't know how to explain it, but I think you can see it, that the back stitching as well as the stitching is not completely accurate. And then if you compare to this I stitched yesterday, well, maybe you cannot see the difference, but I can definitely see the difference. This looks so much neater. Also, if you look at the back side, this is kind of embarrassing. So, but also funny. If you look at the back side, you can see that that's, yeah, I didn't do the back stitching over here yet, but still you can really see a difference. So it's really true that the more you practice a thing, the better it will look if we talk about stitching. I thought that was quite funny. By the way, I'm not very fond of this pale lilac, so when I'm done stitching this one, I will cut it here and make the pillow, and then I'm going to dye the rest of it in another color, because this is, I will probably keep some of this pale lilac, but I will put in some dark purple, deep purple, so it will look better. And now it's time for my Mirabilia. I've never thought I was going to say this, but I love this project. But again, if I have a project I love very much, I just want to stitch on it, and I have forbidden myself to stitch on it every day, simply because then it would be over too soon. So, thanks to Christine, I have the call for silks, the Belle Soie. They are absolutely wonderful. I'm stitching it on 27 count even weave, hand dyed by me. And so far it looks like this. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Some statistics: I started this on September the 16th, and it's Christmas Tree 2010 by Mirabilia, Nora Corbett. I found the pattern, the paper pattern, by Casa Chinina, and I'm pretty sure, and you can also get it by 123 Stitch, because I looked on 123 Stitch's website to see what kind of other stuff I needed to stitch it. So I think it's pretty easy to find the pattern. What's difficult is to find some of the beads, because one of them has discontinued. So I think I made an no, I didn't, but I'm just pulling your leg now. I have to, anyway, this is true. I did tell myself that I'm not allowed to stitch on it when I'm tired. That means that usually I can only stitch on it in the weekends, where I'm not as tired as I am when I come home from work. But I can hardly wait to start beading it. It's so beautiful. Speaking of the beads, I'm not going to use all these beads. I'm going to use these here, and I did write the numbers so I can see which one I will use. Yeah, but these three I will use. But then, as I said, one of them had discontinued, so I bought 5 different ones, these 5 ones. And I think this is the one that looks most like the discontinued one. So, but what I'm going to do is that I will bead one of each on the fabric out in the corner, and then I will take it up and see, so how does it look, what looks the best. And I will do that when I have put in all the other beads. So that's the only color left, if that makes any sense. So, Christmas Tree 2010 by Nora Corbett and Mirabilia. And sorry for the beeping noise. Yeah, and this is not fun to work with Kreinik. That were my projects. So let me check my notes. Yeah. Is this typical me or what? I completely forgot. I just finished recording my Danish version of the video, and all of a sudden it struck me, I forgot to show my FFO. I have finished this one by Solar Stitch. Witch's Shoe. I loved stitching on this project. It's stitched on 16 count Aida, called Dirty. It's a Zweigart. And I love it. And this is fabric where the white is glowing in the dark. And the back side is also Halloween, and then a patch here. And I use glue. I'm lazy when it comes to that. But I think it turned out so cool. Of course, I had to show that to you, right? I asked in my community tab who your favorite designer was. I'm going to put the list up here. There are quite a lot of them that I don't know. Those I do know, it's not just, I haven't necessarily stitched any of their projects, but I just know the names and kind of know the style. I know Madame Lafay, Nora Corbett, Little House of Needleworks, Cuore e Batticuore, Crochet a Gogo, Autumn Lane Stitchery, Long Dog Samplers, Modern Folk Embroidery, and Caroline Manning and Ink Circus. So thank you to those of you who participated. I'm going to check out eventually some of these designers that I have never heard of. And I think it's so nice to see that those who watch my videos not necessarily stitch the same things like I do. I also like to watch Flosstubes where people don't necessarily stitch my kind of stitching, but I like to see different kind of stuff. Also, I also like watching people stitching, showing off the samplers they made. I'm never going, never say never, because I never thought I was going to stitch a Mirabilia, but I think the Christmas tree is different from the fancy ladies. But, well, some of the fancy ladies are actually pretty nice looking, especially some of the witches, so never say never. I have learned that. So I think it's very nice that there are so many different kind of styles out there. Yeah, let me see. I do have a little bit of haul. I told you I had bought these beads for Mirabilia and they should travel alone. Right. So I bought 2 meters of 16 count. I don't know why I'm so keen on 16 count at the moment, but right now it just feels like 16 count, it just suits me the best. I think my stitching looks nicest on 16 count when I'm stitching with 2. It can be a bit tight stitching with 2 threads on 18 count. So I have absolutely no idea when I'm going to dye it. Anyway, talking about dyeing, I did dye a bit. These ones. These are DMC 14 counts. It used to be 14 count easy guide, easy count, you know, with the lines. I told you last time, I think, that I stitched a project for someone and I could keep the rest of the fabric, and that was this 14 count. And I had cut it up into smaller pieces, and then I thought I was going to make some green colors. They're not completely green. As you can see, there's a little... And the fun thing is, this should also be green. I think it's pistachio, the color, but it looks like a very nice warm yellow. But anyway, these are my new fabrics, and I think the green ones will be perfect for Halloween projects. that was that. I think that was it for now, unless you want a life update. In case you don't want to hear a life update, that's completely all right by me. Thank you for watching. I hope you will be back for my next video. And may your threads always run smoothly. For the rest of you, here is now my little life update. Where should I start? You do know that I have arthritis in my hands. It's very bad in my right thumb. It's starting in my left thumb as well. I have had quite a lot of problems with my knees and my ankles. Of course, it doesn't help that I could lose some weight. 10 days ago, I was diagnosed with, that sounds very awful. It's not that much. But anyway, I got a Baker's cyst in my right knee. So my doctor told me to rest my knee. Don't walk that much. You tell that to a teacher. So for the last 2 weeks, I have been sitting down in the weekend and then only walking when I'm at work. Sorry, but also trying not to work that much. Anyway, around mid-October, I'm going to see a rheumatologist because of my arthritis. So I'm curious to see what he has to say. It's quite annoying that I cannot do as much as I'm used to. I cannot tend my garden. My garden looks awful. If you go back, I have put up some garden videos from back when my garden was still tended to. Now, it's not looking that good. I thought I had found a young girl who could come and help me, and she just quit. And she wasn't easy to find. So right now I'm thinking, well, we are getting closer to winter, so maybe I just don't do anything now. Then I have the whole winter to look for some help. Maybe I will pay some professionals to remove all that's very bad now, so it will be easier for me to tend it comes spring. Right now it's overwhelming because weeding, I mean, it hurts so much in my hand. So if I cannot grab onto something, for example, grass or weed, and pull because it hurts too much. So it's very difficult for me to weed. And of course that affects my mood. So I'm very glad that I have my cross stitching. Otherwise, I'm very happy with my job. And I don't see a lot of people. It's my own choice. So I have always been kind of a lonely wolf, you might call it. It's not that I don't like being around people. I mean, I'm around 200 people every day. But I'm a mixture of extrovert and introvert. That means I use all my extrovert powers at work, and when I come home, I just need my peace and quiet. And well, so I do not see a lot of people, but of course I see my family, and I do see my friends from time to time, but not that very often. Also, most of them live far away. So, yeah. And yeah, my 4 cats are also here. And now it's close to October. And now I'm just babbling. So maybe I should just stop for now. Thank you for watching, and I hope I'll see you again, and may your thread always run smoothly. Bye.